What have you observed through creating faith video since you've niched kind of down to a very specific like category of people that you want to service? Like, what are some differences or some things you've observed since you've done that?
It's actually harder to get in the door than it is with a business, believe it or not. And maybe you can get that because I'll give you an example. Back in October, the Evangelical Free Church, I've had some connections there, and they have in our local region, that's called the Midwest Conference. There's about 250 to 300 churches in there, and I paid $100 to do, a booth at there, but I hardly had anybody stop by. My speculation is this, guys, is that I had a really nice tablecloth, yada, yada, yada. But I think when people saw faith and then the word video, they just start checking off some mental boxes like, oh, video streaming, oh, video. They just kind of checked out on me without coming by the table and go, okay, so what is this? Now, I did have two people that did that, and they go, okay, what are you? What do you do? And when I explained it to them, they're like, oh, that's not at all what I thought you did. So education, I find that I have to educate and spend a little more time because video, just like anything else, is broad, right? We're doing a video podcast. If you had a business, you just had the name video in it, but that was your niche, is to help people do video podcasts. You have to educate people, that's what you do, and streaming and blah, blah, blah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, obviously, I'm a big proponent of this, and I think you are as well, Greg. I don't ever try to provide a service if I haven't done it and see it be successful in my own business or in my own world. So I wanted to ask, I know there's a ton of benefits, but if you were going to educate the audience on why they should get into video, what are some of the benefits for producing video for their company, their brand, whatever it might be?
Yeah. So I was kind of laughing inside when you said, don't do it. That's not me. I don't try to necessarily prove it first. Again, I told you I was a risk taker.
Yeah, that's true.
So, to me, some of the check off the boxes with video, when it comes down, if you boil it down to messaging, so you think messaging, so you can throw up a meme. Can memes communicate? Absolutely. Can text communicate? Absolutely. But can video communicate? I think in more ways than one. And what I mean by that is that listening to a podcast or watching a podcast, if somebody had the option, I get it, if you're driving in your car, you're going to do an audio. Coming home the other day from Indianapolis or from Ohio to go see my mother-in-law, I actually pulled up a Jordan. I just signed up for Daily Wire Plus and
Gotcha.
I'm loving it. And I was listening to a Jordan Peterson podcast on Exodus. Well, I had the camera there. I wasn't watching it while I was driving, but I was listening to the podcast through my car, my audio phone speakers. But there's an emotion there. I can't get the same thing out of video. And so video, in some respect, it's not new, right? It's not new.
Right.
I mean, back, I'm going to use the illustration, the comparison, if you're 82 years old, people talk about the radio broadcast, I'm going way back in the 40s and the 50s. I mean, but people were surrounded around a radio, but holy cow, when the TV came out, everybody didn't throw their radios away, but those radios got dusty. People didn't listen to the radio anymore. They watched TV because it was more engaging. So businesses need to do video because it moves the marketing needle for people when they can see the emotions, the behavior behind that. Right. It's just, you mentioned it earlier, Danny, entertainment, but there is an entertainment value to that.